Okay, so I have set up a game of Democrazy. It's a pure card game. Feels kind of like a party game, but it looks like there's a little bit more where it goes to the real heart of voting mechanisms in a sense. So, where each person essentially has one vote. Now, at the beginning of the game, all these tokens, all these pips, are worth a point. But there are some law cards. Law cards, what this deck is made up of, I'll show you them as we play. Some of them affect the values of the points. Some of them affect other things. And I have no idea what they all are because I didn't really look. But I saw some that, make, say, one colored chip worth 2. Or make you throw chips back in the bag. There's a bag full of chips left, and these were randomly assigned. You also get a handful of cards, of law cards. Look at somebody's hand and see what we got. Wild card votes and give them back to the players who already used them. Call an immediate vote for each of the laws in force. A lot of interesting effects that can change things. So there are 2 colors of laws. There's red ones that have kind of a reddish background on them, like this, which just causes an immediate action. And then there's blue ones, which have each player does not count the points for chips in colors of which they have only a single chip, which really are in effect until the end of the game and probably affect victory conditions. Okay. You also have a handful, you have 3 cards. One that says yes, one that says no, and a wild card. And the wild card, in this case, is a definite yes. There's also definite no's, and there's scams. Play of the game is very, very simple. First player, we're going to go counterclockwise as I always do from the upper left corner, is going to propose a law. Well, actually, the first thing they do is they draw a card. And how was this deck taken? Because there are some extra cards that are out of the deck here. It's divided into 2 decks, 15 cards and 10 cards. And then there's an end card that's shuffled into the bottom 10. So a significant amount of play has to happen before the game ends. That's one guarantee there. And of course you can play modifying that. Not all the cards are even in the deck, and not all the cards that are in the deck will get played. There may be things that modify the deck, though. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't. So the first thing you do is you draw a card. You pick one of your law cards, and that's what I think all of these are. You pick one of your law cards, put it face up. Everybody plays a vote card face down, which is either a yes, a no, or a wild card vote. And the wild cards are the definite yes, definite no, and the scam. Okay. If somebody played... Let's go over the order of these. The basic case, nobody plays a wild card. Whoever plays the most yes or no, whether there's more yes or no's, determines whether or not the law passes. What happens if there was a tie? There's a small circle on the top of the law card. If the circle is black, it's rejected. If it's white, it's accepted. So this has a black circle. This has a white circle. So black circle laws are a little harder to get past, especially in 6 players, which I'm playing with, where there's an even distribution. Okay. However, if somebody played a definite yes or a definite no, the law is either automatically accepted or rejected. If more than one definite card is played, it doesn't matter whether they're in the same direction. The cards are all out. They're tossed out into the discard pile. They're only one-use cards anyway, but they cancel each other out. So even if two people play definite yeses, there's no definite yes in play if they're playing that. Okay. The final type of wild card is the scam. After the votes tally, definites are handled if need be. The scam reverses the effect of the vote. There are less scams than definite yes or no's. Each person gets one of these types at random. I think there's 2 scams and 4 of each of the others or something like that. Game can hold 10 players. 4 to 10 is what they recommend. I could see it being played with 3, not with 2. Okay. So, if the law takes effect, if it's a red law, it has an immediate effect. If it's a blue law, it's placed face up. If it fails, it's discarded. In some cases, here we go. So, there can never be more than 6 blue laws in effect at any one time. If there's a 7th blue law that comes up, the player who's playing that law gets to determine which one of the currently existing blue laws is being replaced by it. And these blue laws don't seem to be actual blue laws, but I don't know, because, you see, there are these blank cards, and one of the options in the game, well, the only option in the game that's optional is, hey, throw one of them in, or throw a bunch of them in to the deck, shuffle them in, and they become make your own law. When you play it. It has to be a red law, not a blue one. And they say the law must be clearly stated and not contrary to the spirit of the game. But they leave that up to the judgment of the players, and with some players, well, we could have actual blue laws out of those red laws, huh? Okay. Anyway. Right. If laws are in conflict, and I think this is kind of a catch-all, I don't think there are many cases where this can happen, the earlier adopted law remains in effect. The new law cannot cancel out a portion of it or whatever. And that's probably a serious possibility with the white cards. Some cards force you to draw a chip. It comes from the bag. If you lose a chip, it goes in the bag. Game ends. Game ends when the game end card is drawn, which remember is in the 16 through 26th card in this deck. Or if the last chip from the bag is drawn. I don't know if it's the last chip or when, there we go. When the last chip is taken, yeah. So if the last chip is taken, then the game is also over immediately. Alright, well, let's get started. So you notice we've already assigned the chips out. Some people have some definite advantages. For example, this guy is completely invested in 2 colors, which, you know, makes it more clear what's happening. So what is... Each player does not count the points for chips and colors, which they have only a single chip. That doesn't sound good. Oh, they draw one. Players with no yellow chips score 3 bonus points. Doesn't really want that. The player turn order is reversed. Huh. Well, that doesn't sound bad. That's a possible law. Call it immediate vote for each of the laws currently in force. I don't want to use that. Wildcard votes are given back. I don't want to use that. Each player places all of their chips to the player on their right. That doesn't sound useful. Player who proposed this law along with player of the choice. Each draw 2 chips. I'm going to just put up reversing the player order, and I don't know, that sounds confusing. Alright. So, for whatever value I'm having everybody vote no on that. They just see no point to it. And I could flip up all the cards, but I don't see a point to that either. And that law fails. Boom. Okay. Well, let's go to the next player. And obviously I'm not going to play everything out. I never do that. Each player, well, I try not to count their points using the chips on the player to the left. Ooh, that's getting interesting. Each color a player possesses that the player on the right does not have scores 3 bonus points. Each time a law is adopted, the players who voted in favor lose a chip, those who voted against. Well, that sounds kind of interesting. If all of the chips of a player are the same color, no. Yellow chips are worth 0, I don't want to do that. Each player who has more than 2 chips in the same color must give their surplus to the player on the left. Okay. That would be bad for me, I don't want to do that. I've got 7. No, I get to draw one. I didn't draw one. Players who did not play their wild card score 3 bonus points. I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to propose this. Each time a law is adopted, players who voted in favor lose a chip, and those who voted against draw a chip. And I assume that doesn't take place until after the law is effected. And again, nobody's got a big stake on these, so I'm just kind of rolling dice to decide which way to go. This is going to be an annoying law, but it looks like everybody's voting yes. I'll just put these face up so I don't have to return them. There's another one. Okay, everybody voted yes on this. It just passed. Interesting law. It penalizes people for passing laws from now on. Wow. All right, that's going to kind of switch the flavor of the game. Okay, I'm going to load this one up, and I'm going to start playing without you guys paying much attention, and maybe show you some interesting things as they happen.